Hello, everyone. Welcome to this session, API 360. I'm really happy to be with you today, and thank you for coming as a before data night out session. So you're not drinking, that's a good thing. I saw some people with beers, but it's okay. More fun, more fun. So welcome to this session. So when I started at Tableau 3 years ago, I understood that Tableau was more than just a visualization tool. It was a platform with multiple APIs. But I got lost. I was like, REST API, now we have extension API. What are they doing? What are the use cases? When should I use it? So I explored that, but I didn't find anything, any session, any resources. Is why I came up with this presentation about API 360 and use cases. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Geraldine, but no one calling me like that. I'm Gigi. In my free time, I like riding T-Rexes, as you can see on the picture. Just kidding. So I like to tell my story with the country I lived in, where I grew up. So I have a French accent, but guess what? I'm not actually from France. I'm from there. This is the island, beautiful island, called Mauritius. So it's where I'm from, and I moved to Paris to study computer science. It's how I started coding and having all this API, looking at the API when I joined Tableau. I moved after in London to work in the pre-sales team at Tableau, on the market, Europe, Africa, and I was helping customers to adopt Tableau the right way. But you know what? I was like, I really like APIs. I really like coding. So it's how I joined the dev team in Seattle 4 months ago, I think now, as a developer evangelist. Now my job is to help people that are using our APIs or tools to be sure that they adopt it and they have the right resources to get started. So that's it for my story and where I'm from. What are we going to do in this next hour? I set some goals for you. First, at the end of the session, you will be, I understand APIs. I understand the tools, the use cases. I know what to use when. I know what is coming up on the developer platform. What is the new API? We are going to see new APIs I'm sure you don't know yet about. And then, where to find the resources. If you're a beginner and you want to learn, you need to know where are the right resources to get you started. But I want to keep your motivation to the up all during this hour. So for that, I think after half an hour of me talking, I'm going to have a small game for you. So the mascot of my team is Flex the T-Rex. So we have 4 flexes to win today and 2 power bank. So if you want to win, listen to me carefully and be the first one with the right answer, and you can bring flexes at home. Are you excited? Yeah. So yeah, you have to listen to me. That's the most difficult part. I'm kidding. Or not. So the developer platform. What is it? First is automation integrations. If you want to automate some tasks on Tableau server or integrate with other applications, you can use the developer platform and certain APIs. You can also extend your capability of Tableau using APIs. You can do even more. You can embed Tableau using our API. So much we can do. You can connect to non-native data sources using APIs. And you can do advanced analytics. If you want to go further than just a calculate field, and you want to use your own algorithm, then you can. I see a lot of people taking pictures. Don't worry, you don't have to. But the session is recorded, and I will send you the slide at the end. So, and we have a lot of content. So if you miss anything, You will hear the session again on YouTube. No, don't worry. But if you can take picture, you can as well. And use the hashtag DataDev on Twitter if you want to share it. Just saying. So, you are a data analyst. What do you start when you start with Tableau? You start by connecting to the data source. But the data source is not available. I don't see my connections. What are you going to do? Are you going to call Tableau and ask for the connection? Yeah, we can just find a solution. Or you can use one of these three APIs. We have a web data connector for web-based data to connect to APIs. Instagram, for example, Facebook. Then we have the extract API, where you can create custom script to pull data from your data to Tableau. And the new one, the new baby to the connectivity team, is a connector SDK that allows users to build their own connector custom making, that look exactly like the connector native that you have in Tableau. So you open the data pane, you will have the connector there if you install the package. So that's the new one. But what are the differences? But first, I say there's only one new baby in the family. I'm sure you all know about Extract API. But did you know that version 3 is not in beta yet, but it's coming in beta soon. Soon, you will be able not only to produce extract, but you are going to be able to update and extract, write, delete, using the Extract API. It was a very popular request, and we also work on the performance as well. So the version 3 is coming soon. But let's talk about the difference. The web data connector is to connect to web-based data, for example, REST API. The Extract API, in the other hand, is to any data source or API. The connector SDK, the first release is going to be only ODBC and GDBC connect database. For the web data connector and the connector SDK, you are going to need JavaScript skills. For the Extract API, you can use C++, C, Python, Java, up to you. The web data connector, let's talk about refresh. If you want to refresh your web data connector, you need to use Tableau Online or Tableau Server. For Extract API, you need to run your code again to refresh your extract. And the connector SDK is going to work like any native connectors. So you can pick between an extract and a live connection. Web data connector, if you want to share it, web data connector, you can share a URL to a user and say, that's my web data connector. I made it work so you can use your credential and log into your own Facebook account, for example. For Extract API, that's more difficult. You are writing a script that be linked to your data source. So you might have dependency, so maybe the person needs to configure it again. The connector SDK then is files that you have to share to your user. That's it for connectivity. Now I'm building my dashboard. I'm connected to my native data source or not. But you know what? I want to extend my capability of Tableau. I want to go further. I want to extend extensibility then. What can you do? You can use the JavaScript API or the extension API to extend your capability of Tableau. The JavaScript API, you need to embed it in your application, and then you can extend the capability in your application using the API. The extension API, the application is going to be embedded in your dashboard, making your dashboard an entire new application. So the difference, JavaScript API, you embed your dashboard in your application. Extension API, your application is in your dashboard. JavaScript API, you need to embed Tableau in a web application, web page, we understood it. Extension API, you can use it on Tableau desktops, online, and server. For the JavaScript API, as you embed it in your application, it is mostly custom script. But extension API, you can build an extension that other user use. If you look at the gallery, if anyone looked at it, is where partner put the gallery, the extension on the gallery, so you can download them for free and try it on your own dashboard. So they made it generic so you can use it anywhere. But both need JavaScript skills. So that's for extensibility. But what about the use cases? Now we know how it works, what are the differences in terms of functionality. So the JavaScript API, if you don't want the user to connect to Tableau server, you want the user to go to your portal directly. Then you can use the JavaScript API to embed Tableau in your application, and the user is going to have a new experience that is in Tableau server, a new UI. Extension API, you can customize feature. You don't like the drop-down menu, you think blue is not your color, you want it red. You want the same filter but red, you can use Extension API. With the JavaScript API, you can also custom the parameter when the dashboard is loading. And the Extension API, you can take action directly from your dashboards. Again, you stay in Tableau. Tableau is a safe place while going out of Tableau or going to another application. Let's bring the application inside of Tableau. But both can be used to create custom charts or get data from your dashboard and bring it in another application. So who went to the keynote today, this morning? Almost everyone. So you all heard about embedded analytics with As Data. Now, you can embed As Data in your applications. So your user can ask their own questions in your application on your data. So I decided in this presentation to demo only things that you haven't seen anywhere else. I will advise you have extension sessions, JavaScript sessions, but I'm going to demo every exclusive things and things that we haven't heard anything else before at TC. So let's see embedded as data iframe. So in life, I have two passions, wine and Tableau. Anyone like that? One. So I did some research, and I was like, where is wine coming from? It's not from France, it's from where? And I found this website. I was like, oh, that's really cool, but you know what? I wonder how it will be if I can ask my own questions to this website. So I'm just going to I saved the website already. I don't want to download you now. And I have the iframe there already ready that I can comment. And let me reload this website. And reload again, maybe? Oh, did I save it? No, I didn't save it. Reload it again. I saved the website, and I just embedded an iframe, and now I can ask my own questions to this website. For example, what can we have? Like wine, how many wine? Doesn't really make sense, but he understands my English, so perfect. I want that. I want per country. By country, yeah, more English again. Even correct your English, that's great, no? So now I have a Tableau visualization, and I was able to ask my own questions directly from my applications. I didn't go to Tableau server, I'm in my website. Imagine if your customer go, and they can ask their own question as well. No, they're not calling you at 5 a.m. because it's not the same time zone. And like, I want to know that now. They can ask their own question. How cool is that? I'm glad you like it. So the answer was US, for some reason. So that's the new baby in the embedding and extensibility. Let's talk about automation and integration. The first one is the REST API, the most famous one. Basically, everything you do on the Tableau server UI, you can do it programmatically using the REST API. We also talk about the 3P when we talk about REST API: provisioning, permission, and publishing. So what are the use cases to use the REST API? To automate a setup of a new server with new users, to generate images from your dashboards, or create a custom portal and expose only the functionality that you want, not that Tableau wants. The REST API is available since version 8.2, so I hope everyone is up to date. You can use it on Tableau Server and online, and you can integrate with any languages, any application you want to. Document API is the less popular one. Who did XML hacking before? Few people. So no more XML hacking, please. You can use the Document API. XML hacking, basically, when you are saving a workbook, a TWB or DWBX, or even a data source, TDS, is actually XML. So now you can use the Document API to edit this XML, to get the field, for example, in your workbook. Or if you want to change the username of a data source programmatically, you don't want to go to server and edit the connection. The Document API is available for version 9 and higher, only on desktop as you are editing the TWBX or the TWB, and you need Python skills. Anyone listen to Dev on Stage last year, TC18? No, doesn't matter. Webhooks is coming soon. So Webhooks allow you to have other services respond to events from Tableau. Example, you are server admin. You have your refresh, but the refresh is failing. But you want to be aware. You don't want an email, for example. You want Slack messages, for example. Then this event is going to trigger, and you can have a Slack bot saying, hey, you need to be careful, your extract is failing. You can have Alexa talking to you every time someone is publishing a dashboard, for example. You can do so much more with Webhooks. We are really excited. It's coming soon this year. On Tableau Server and online, and again, as any integrations, you can use it in any languages. Let's do a demo. So that's my Twitter handle. If you have your phone, it's the only time you can look at your phone and maybe go to look at my Twitter profile. See the last time I tweeted? And I don't have my phone. I'm not going to open Twitter. But my boss is following me on Twitter, and he wants to know when I'm doing work. He wants to know every time I'm publishing a dashboard to Tableau Server. So I'm doing some work. I built this nice dashboard about Superstore data. And I'm going to publish it to my server. If the connection wants. I'm publishing demo. Yeah, let's put up a case. So I'm publishing this workbook. Taking some time. This is where you should have jokes ready sometimes. It's like, what if a measure is going to a dimension party? What is the dimension saying to the measure? Be discrete. It's really Tableau geek. Jokes. Good joke? I'm glad. So I have my dashboard ready. Let's go to my Twitter. Let's refresh it. 16 seconds ago? What do you see? Oh, no, I didn't mean that. I'm trying to zoom it. Yeah. You see? I was not on my phone. I published the workbook, and he auto-generated a tweet. And I just want to be sure you haven't touched my phone. So you have proof it was working, and it's coming soon. You can integrate it with Slack, maybe more useful than Twitter, or other application. let's talk about the Metadata API. Brand new API in beta, coming soon in 19.3. So if we look at the server nowadays, we have workbooks, we have prep flow, we have, what do we have else? Data sources. We have, but all are linked to each other. It's like a messy family, tree. The cousin, the uncle, they are together, they're not. That's the same with the configuration of Tableau server. They are all linked to each other. How to know the connection between the brother and the sister? Here is assets. How I know the connection between my data source and my workbook. You can use the Metadata API now. So it's the first API with GraphQL API. It's really useful as we look at relationship. You will see how resources are linked to each other. Let's give an example. Let's go back to the server admin. You are a server admin, and you see this data source, and you want to delete it because it looks like an old data source. But you want to see if there's any connection, anyone using it, any workbook linked to this data source. Do you really want to open Tableau server and check that? No. Then you can use the Metadata API, one request, and you have the answer. So it's going to be released in 19.3 on Tableau server and online. And again, you can use any languages that you want. Do you want to see a demo? Yeah. No, just kidding, I'm not showing you. So let's go to my Tableau Online. I'm already in the beta program. So I have this environment, this very nice environment. So I'm wondering about published data sources. Did you see I started typing and I already have a suggestion? Yeah, I want to publish data source in my Tableau Online. And you know what do I need? I need the name as well. I need the name of my published data sources. Just this one. I need the name of my published data source. I want to know which data source I have. I want to know who is owning the data source, who is the owner. And I want the name of the owner of the data source. And I want the email as well. Can you see it? Let me zoom. OK. I want also to know if I can trust this data source. We introduce certified data sources. So let's say, is it certified? Yes or not. And if it's certified, I want the nuts. I want to know why the person certified it. And also the certifier, the person that certified the data source. I want the email, so I can email them to be sure that I'm using a good data source. Should I zoom more? So that's my request. I want to know which published data source I have on my Tableau Online, who owns it, and the email address, and also if it's certified. Let's run it. Maybe I should be logged in first. So let's run it. So it's secure, you see, you have to log in. So I can see all my data sources. So I'm the owner of most of them. I can see that another person are now also published data sources. And do I have any certified data sources? Actually, yes, I have one. For example, this one. So the Starbucks data source has been certified. And we can see that Keyros at tableau.com certified it. Data has been cleaned and validated. Woo! So yeah, I know which data source to use and which one is certified in one request. Let's see more information. I want to know, now let's talk about relationship. I have already my request here. And I want to know which published data source I have again. So let's zoom in. But I want to know, I have my published, I filter for this one, Superstore order. And I want to know which workbook is using this data source. What's the name? And also how many worksheets I have. So let's run this query. So now, on the right, I can see the host name. I know that it is a SQL data source. I know the name of the data source. I know the workbooks. And here I have all the worksheets linked to this data source. So we went from data source to so which data is connected, the published data source, to the workbook, to the worksheet. So we have now the relationship, and we know what do we have using this connection. And another query that we have often is the fields. I want to know the fields in my data source, in my server. Easy. I want to know the field and the name of the field, you know. I need name on wrong keyboard. The name. And actually, I want to know the calculate field as well. So let's see on calculate field. And I want them calculate field, and I want to know the formula of this calculate field. You have one parenthesis. So let's see. Now I have all the calculate field on my server and the formula. And one is like 3 lines, and I know how many calculate field and which calculate field I have. You can also do that for the columns, knowing which columns you have on the server and if they are referenced anywhere else. That's a very powerful API. Excited? Do you really already see the use cases for this API? So now, should we play a game? Did you listen to me during this half an hour? I told you it was half an hour, it's even less. So let's play a game. I'm going to display some use cases, and you have to raise your hand. The first one that has the right answer is winning. You can pick between the power bank or the flex, okay? First one, I'm Mr. Robot. I would like to automate onboarding of new customers. First one there. Yeah. It was the REST API. You want to automate. That's the important word here. I'm going to use the REST API to automate the onboarding of new users. I don't want to do it manually. I'm Mr. Robot. I don't want to do anything manually. I want to automate. REST API. Ready? New one. Mario and Luigi. I have multiple customers, and each customer has a different data source, but they have the same data structure. I want to create one workbook and use it as a template and deploy it for each customer. Yeah.
Document API?
Good job. Oh my God, you're so good. You're actually listening to me. So yeah, different data sources, the same data structure, and template. That's the keyword here in this use case. So he has one same template, but customers, it's often the case, they have different data sources, but the same structure, but they don't want to put it in common. They don't want to union them, but you don't want to create 10 dashboards. Then you can use the document API to switch the different data connections. New one. I want to raise a ServiceNow ticket from my maintenance dashboard. No. Yes. Extension API. Yes. I want to raise, and that's important, raise from my maintenance dashboard. I don't want to leave the dashboard. I want to be able to do an action directly from my dashboard. Then is the extension API. New one. I need to receive a Slack notification when an extract is filling on Tableau server. I don't know. I think it's Webhooks. What do you think, guys? It's Webhooks. I need to receive a notification on an event that's happening on Tableau server, then it's Webhooks. Webhooks saved the life of Mr. Busy guy. New one. I want the same look and feel from our brand when user is accessing his dashboard. Yeah, good job. Yes, you want the look and feel, not in the dashboard, but when they're accessing the dashboard. So JavaScript API helped me to have my dashboard in a sexy website. Always the case. New one. I want my Tableau user to connect to my in-house database like any native connectors. Did you already win, no? No? Okay. Good job. Okay, I think you need to sit here if you want. I can't see you. So in-house database and native connection, you want the same look and feel that the native connection that we already have in the product. Connector SDK. So the last one, I'm going to read it because I feel like I'm not fair by reading it. I'm looking at verse there. So I'll leave you 5 minutes to read it. Yeah, Metadata API. So I want to know which calculate field was created for a published data source. You want to know what are the connection and which one is the most used. So the Metadata API is going to help Crusoe, the inspector. Congratulations to the winner. I think we can congratulate them. Good job. So if you didn't win, you can always come to me as well if you want a small stickers of Flex. But the winner, just come to me and we will pick the one you want from the box. Now that you are all API experts, you know when to use it and where. How do I know more? How I get started more hands-on because I'm really interested in the REST API maybe, or the extension API, or another one. You want to learn more. Did you hear about the developer program before? Yes. Anyone already part of the developer program? Few people. So if you join the Tableau developer program, you get early access to APIs. So if you want, for example, to get started today with the Metadata API, you need to join, the only option for you is to join the developer program. When you join the developer program, you also get a free development site. So go back to my beginning of Tableau, my start at Tableau. I started using the REST API. I created my sites using REST API. And then the next challenge for me was to delete the sites. But you know, I was working on my team server, the production team server, the one they use for demo. And I'm like, it doesn't work. Like 4 times I sent the request, 4 times. And I turned around to a colleague and I'm like, do you know why it doesn't work? He looks at that, he's like, yes, you're trying to delete all the sites on the server. True story, you can ask my colleague. I didn't do it, but at the time I was like, I wish I have an environment already set up so I can test these APIs. A safe place that is not a production environment. If you join the Tableau developer program, you get a free site. So you can try, you can make mistake, it's okay. It's your space, no one else. So joining, you get your free sites with a pre-release version. So you can also try and learn about the new APIs. Joining the developer program, you get also access to the engineering team. You can ask questions, get feedback, give feedback. You're like, I really want that in the product, or I think that would be great. That's the way to start. You have the first one to know even to what is coming next. We have sprint demos, public sprint demos, monthly. We have one coming next week when I'm coming back to Seattle, and I know the agenda, and it's pretty cool things coming up. So you get invitation, only the developer, the people part of the developer program get access to these sprint demos. And then you have a lot of T-Rex swags. Wake up the T-Rex. Do you know why the T-Rex maybe is like the mascot of the developer platform team? It started with the release of extension. And when you use extension, you drag and drop a file. And this file is a T-Rex file. T is for Tableau, AX is for extension, and R is just to make it a T-Rex. So now is our mascot. We also have a lot of different events coming up. Oh. We have the hackathon tour. So usually it's the first day at TC. Is the right one. Usually it's the first day at TC. We get people in the room and they hack during the day. But we thought it was not fair for being only at TC. What about Europeans or people that cannot come at big TC? So we go in different cities. So it's hackathon tour. You go there, you spend 1 day to create, innovate. You also, if you are new to the developer platform, you can also learn. We have small projects to get you started. We also have the engineering team coming from Seattle to all the events to help you get started. If you have questions, or if you want to get further, or if you just want to get started, they are there as well. You can receive exclusive dev swags, like the small flex, for example. And you know what? What the winner is receiving is on the slide now. We think that TC Europe is not enough. We send you to TC19. So team up to 4 people. If you are winning, you win a ticket to TC19. That's cool, no? It's cool. It's also because we noticed that dev don't have the occasion to go to TC most of the time. They get the last one picked to go to TC in the company. So we really want to encourage dev to go to TC to learn more also about APIs. This is where the ideas of the prize came from. And if you think that the small T-Rex is cool, imagine receiving a big T-Rex as a trophy. So we already been to 4 cities, actually. I was in New York last week. We went to Seattle, Chicago, Austin, and New York. We saw some awesome hacks. We saw some awesome team that started with no knowledge of API, getting to creating an awesome hack. The one, there's a lot of awesome here, I think. The one in Chicago, for example, used voice recognition to set new subscriptions on Tableau server. Imagine saying, what are my sales in Miami? And receive a dashboard in your email. That would be cool. So if you're interested, we have a blog post about the Chicago hack. But we have one coming in London in September. So I hope you will join us, have fun, enjoy the swags, and learn about the developer platform, and meet the team. So if you are free, it's from the 10th to 11th of September in our London office. But if you cannot make it, not a big deal. We have a virtual hack. So you can go and follow along and submit your hack. It's from the 10th of August to the 18th of August. So you can be anywhere from your office, from any country, you can participate and create a hack. And again, team to up to 4 people, you can win a ticket to TC19. So what did we learn today? A lot. The developer platform allows you to different use cases, like integrate, customize, automate, extend your capability of Tableau. It fits your needs and your use cases. You also have the resource today to get you started with APIs by becoming a new developer platform evangelist if you want to take my role in your organization. So that's it for today. If you are joining the developer program, I will see you soon. We have hackathon. I'm answering on the forum all the time, so feel free to be there as well. We have a sprint demos monthly that I'm running. And we also have a new developer user group where people are sharing their use cases about what they build or how they got started on our API. So you can join the developer program for all these new updates, and I'm sure we'll see you soon in one of these platforms. I just realized I forgot the questions slide. I'm going to take a few questions today. I'm just going to put this one on so you have it as well.